You've heard of Muhammad Ali and Smokin' Joe Frazier. Now meet the Pecos Kid.
The Pecos Kid.
John Oden.
John Oden.
John E. Oden.
John Oden is the Muhammad Ali of white-collar boxing.
White-collar boxing.
White-collar boxer.
White-collar boxing.
White-collar boxer.
So with the longer arms, he really does have the advantage here, and Smith is picking up a few shots. Oh, and on the right hand! Smith is down!
John, the Pecos Kid, Oden!
So he's got all this under his belt. But as they say in the Jinzu commercials, wait, there's more.
By day, Oden is a mild-mannered, button-down
principal at one of the largest money management firms in the world.
Sanford Bernstein in New York City.
The Pecos Kid, a.k.a. John Oden, is also a heavyweight on Wall Street, a highly successful money manager, a white-collar boxer.
I'm on the money management side of the firm, and I work with a lot of our clients, making sure they get invested properly. I also bring in new business.
And here's John, who's done it all, and I love him for it, but I love him for one other thing. John has written a book on his experiences, and anytime you can do this, and his experiences are real, white-collar boxing. Because boxing does not get its recruits usually from the Harvard B School or the debutante line and the cotillion. It takes hard-scrabble kids, and here's John with all of this. Look at this. This is oak leaf clusters you got. He went into boxing.
John was in his 40s when he made a life-changing decision of stepping into the ring and transforming himself from a desk-bound money manager to the Pecos Kid, one of the most respected and well-known white-collar boxers of our time. John discusses how boxing has not only jump-started his athletic career, but has also helped him in the workplace by applying the lessons he's learned from studying and competing in the sport. Trained by living legend Emanuel Stewart and being active in the sport he loves has provided John unparalleled stories and experiences that he now shares with audiences nationwide.
I really appreciate this opportunity to speak on something I'm very passionate about, and that's the sport of white-collar boxing. I probably don't remind you of a boxer. I'll bet I remind you of yourselves. I'll bet I remind you of a professional person who works on Wall Street or maybe in corporate America, an attorney, an accountant, a writer, might be a stretch to say a politician. But can you imagine in your wildest dreams a man like me fighting someone 20 years younger than me 3 years ago in London and knocking him down not once but twice? Well, I am a boxer. I'm a white-collar boxer. And the experiences I've had in the ring have been so fantastic that I just had to write this book and tell everyone about it because it's a sport that every one of you can do. So this evening, I'd like to tell you how I happened to get involved in this sport. I wasn't exactly a natural athlete growing up in a small town in West Texas called Pecos. I wasn't the captain of the football team. I wasn't the star of the basketball team. I played sports. I wasn't a wimp, but I just wasn't known for my athletic ability. I always had this big connection to boxing. I had this tough guy, macho, ex-cowboy dad, and he loved boxing. When I was a little boy, he went out and bought 2 sets of boxing gloves, and when other little boys would come over and play, he'd get the gloves out and we'd go outside and duke it out. And I was bigger than most of my friends, so after a while I looked up, about 8 or 9 years old, I didn't have any friends. I moved to New York City to seek my fortune. I didn't box there either. My career was my priority. Now, how many times have you heard that? Anybody in this room that can say that? So in 1992, I joined the New York Athletic Club and made a command decision to jumpstart my athletic career.
It began when he was just north of 40, flabby and sick of running and tennis and all the other things money managers do to work up a sweat. He was yearning for something different.
Well, I found myself getting a little older. As I crossed the big 4-0, I decided to really jumpstart my athletic career to get in shape. And I actually think that through this sport, I have discovered the fountain of youth, and I didn't even take it up until I was in my 40s. I found boxing to be the most exciting, stimulating, and physically and mentally challenging thing I'd ever done on any level. I love the competition. I love the uniqueness of it. I love the interesting people I was meeting and the fun I was having as I was learning this extremely challenging sport. Most of all, I liked the great shape I'd gotten into physically and the difference it had made in all aspects of my life. In my book, there's a chapter 10 called Fighting Cops, Firemen, Senators, and Hillary Swank. So I'm only going to pick on one of these today, tell you briefly what happened with Hillary Swank. The bell rang, and to my surprise, she came at me with full force. She moved very fast, was very serious about her game. I'm in the corner, right? She's coming at you, right? And what I do is I'm going to do a Muhammad Ali rope it up, right? Which means you put your hands up like this, right? And you lean back on the rope. She comes around with a hook, right? And hits me twice, 2 hard shots.
So he popped her in the nose.
I couldn't believe I did it. I stopped and I said, I can't believe this. I just hit Hillary Swank. So I immediately stopped and I said, Hillary, I am so sorry. And you can see in the book there's some photos of Hillary and me, and she has this beaming red nose. And in my opinion, that was a product of the Oden right hand. I should mention the other subtle message in my book, and it's a very strong message, is that, sure, it's a story of white-collar boxing, and it's my story, but it's also anyone can challenge themselves to do anything they want to do. You can try anything you want to try. You can be anything you want to be. All you have to do is decide that you want to do it. For me, it's been white-collar boxing for the last few years.